Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Sam Babiak, and I'm the Program Director for the Writers League of Texas. I am here today with Mary Grace Rodriguez, the owner at the Willow Bookstore in Greenville, Texas. And so we really just want to get to know more about you and your bookstore. And so we'll get started.
Okay.
How did you get into the book business?
Well, I am guilty of loving books all my life. A very avid reader. I actually moved back to my hometown. I had been in Austin for 13 years, and the last 8.5, I had worked for one company and then was laid off. So before I could get an interview with Texas Parks and Wildlife, I had moved back to, I had sold the house in Austin, so I was moving back to my hometown. And when I got here, I realized, sadly, that Hastings, our only bookstore, was shutting down. And I was so upset about that. And one day, I was driving past with a couple of friends who were visiting, and they're good friends of mine from college. And we were going by the 70% off signs at the shop, and I just said out loud, I should open a bookstore. And they both turned around. One of them was driving. They both turned around and looked at me and said, "That's a great idea." And so about 1.5 years later, I did. And that's pretty much how it all started.
Wow, that's amazing. That makes you my hero, because I grew up in a city without a bookstore, and I was an avid reader, and I didn't get to go to the library a lot, and so bookstores are just so important to have, and you did that.
Great.
City, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
And so can you tell us 3 words that you'd use to describe your bookstore? It could be the character, the community, like the space itself.
Right. Tiny. It is a tiny shop. Tiny, quirky, and it's been called Zen, so I'll say Zen.
I love that. And so bookstores, they're just places where communities come together, where kids find books and their love for reading. And so I'm wondering what you would say the responsibility of a bookstore is today. And if that's changed recently with just the pandemic and everything that's going on.
Sure. I really think that bookstores and books in general are great for learning empathy. You get into the character, you get to see, kind of like feel how that character feels. And, they may not be just like you, but they give you that sense of being similar to you, even if they're not of the same race or the same color. It doesn't matter. And I think it's a great form of bringing awareness to, and we really need that sort of thing today. I think that if we could just empathize with one another, everything would be fabulous.
All the problems would be solved.
Yes, all the world problems would be solved. So read a book.
Read a book. Yeah. Awesome. And so you said your store is tiny, and I love that because it could be like homey and just like a nice space where people just feel together. And so what would you say your favorite section of the store is?
Okay, my favorite section is kind of what I call the woo-woo section, because it's the alternative section. It's a section where I have things like Animal Speak by Ted Andrews, and also Heal Your Body by Louise Hay, and also David Wilcock's latest book, which is Awakening in the Dream. And I just, I tend to gravitate toward the metaphysical. In fact, if I think I could pull off, just being simply a metaphysical bookstore, I would totally go in that direction. But I don't know how much of a clientele around here in this little town we have for that.
So a lot of bookstores sell books, but they also sell other things that are either literary or just related to things that book lovers like puzzles and stuff like that. And so I'm wondering, besides books, what's one thing that you just love to see customers walk out of your store with?
Well, lately we've been introducing a few apothecary items. I would love to have like an actual apothecary line in the shop. So I have sage sticks, I have crystals, and even have Palo Santo. And whenever someone buys something like that, I kind of get a little spark from having it in the shop and them being excited to find it there. So that's what I wish, yeah. I have some with me right now because, like I said, I get nervous. So
Oh, crystal.
they're just like helping me out. This is an amateur,
That's awesome.
and so I don't have these like ones this big in the shop, but maybe one of these days I will. This is just clear quartz.
Yeah, this is so cool. And you're actually the first person who's mentioned like crystals or apothecary stuff selling like
Really?
yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. No, I love all the like energy healing modems, modalities, and I love to dabble into that stuff.
Yeah, that's so cool. Um, and so this is our last question. And is
Okay.
there anything else that you want people to know about your bookstore?
Well, I just hope that we're around for a long time. I mean, everything's hard right now. But a couple of weeks ago, we had a really good week at the shop, and we're trying, like I said, we're trying to get new vendors in. So hopefully with the start of school, maybe we'll get more traffic into the building.
Yeah, well, great. Thank you so much for joining us today.